In today's sewing tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful dress using a tablecloth that I got from the thrift store for $4. So if you want to see how, then keep on watching. I will be using the same pattern pieces that I used for this beautiful dress right here that I posted last week. If you're wondering, this fabric is actually a thick cotton material, so it's going to be super easy to work with and it's not going to feel like plastic when I'm wearing it. You will also need a long invisible zipper. And here I'm going to be cutting out all the details and I will be adding the necessary seam allowances. And since the fabric is thick, I don't need to add lining to it. Yay! If you are wondering how I made the pattern, I simply adapted it from a basic bodice blocks to get the shape that I came up with. And here I'm cutting out the sleeves and I want it to be extra big because I really want it to be voluminous and big and just romantic. Here I'm just pattern matching the sleeves so they look the same. And the skirt is going to be a half circle skirt. And then I cut it into thirds, so the front is going to be one piece and the back is going to be two pieces. And here I'm cutting this out. This is going to be for the shoulders. I will have two pieces of this. Now let's go to the exciting part of this is the sewing. I matched the side fronts on the correct side of the fabric and I'm going to stitch along the seams. Then I grade along the curves and I'm going to press it. And here I'm tracing the neckline because I am creating a neck facing. And I will do the same thing for the back pieces. Next, I join the panels at the side seams. Right sides of the fabrics are facing. So I tried on the bodice and it seems like it needs to be a little bit more fitted, so I decided to add darts at the back. And to do that, I simply find the center fold of the waistline and then I created 1 inch wide dart and it's about 5 inches tall. So I'm just going to trace that out and stitch along, and I repeated the same for the other side. After I completed that, I gave it a good press. Next, I press the shoulder band like this. Also gather the shoulders at the top and I'm going to place it inside the casing or the band. So I'm just going to basically sandwich all the raw edge and then stitch along. I will top stitch it to secure, and I'm making sure that I am actually catching the fabric at the back. After that, I am going to close the side seams. Then I'm going to match the arm side together. Right sides of the fabrics are facing. Now it's time to work on the neck facing. I'm going to match the side seams. Right sides of the fabrics are facing. After that, I am going to match it at the neckline. Then I'm going to grade it along the curve, and I'm going to trim some of the seam allowances to get rid of the bulk. Then I will understitch the neck facing. Make sure that the raw edge are resting towards the facing. Next, I will stay stitch right here so the neck facing is not going to move. Now it's time to work on the bottom. I just match the panels on the side seams. Right sides of the fabrics are facing and stitch along. If you want to, you can add pockets, but I actually don't like pockets on my dresses because it just ruined the shape of the dress, especially if the pockets are not properly placed. If it's too high, it adds volume to the waistline, and if it's too low, it adds volume to the hips. But it's totally up to you if you want to add pockets to your garments. After that, I am going to match it at the waistline. Right sides of the fabrics are facing. And did you notice I always say right sides of the fabrics? I always kind of tell you that because when you are a beginner, sometimes that can get a little confusing because I know I was so confused which sides to match when you're sewing. Here I'm just trimming off the inner side of the sleeve because it was a little long. So I trim down about 1 inch just on the side, and I kind of taper it to the edge. Then I'm just going to double fold it, making sure that it is big enough for the elastic because I'm going to place elastic along the hem. And here I'm just making sure that the elastic is not super tight because you don't want to cut the circulation on your arms. Guys, I promise you we are almost done. Now I am going to add the zipper. So I place it on the right side of the fabric. As you can see here, I do have a detailed tutorial on how to sew an invisible zipper. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually really easy and it will not intimidate you anymore because this was actually my one of my biggest fear when I was sewing is like the invisible zipper. But I got the rope of how to perfectly install it or sew it, and here I am. I'm going to close the back seam, and this made me super happy because the print aligned. Oh my goodness. Then I am going to trim off the excess fabric because I gave it like a few inches allowance because I wasn't sure if the pattern will still fit me. Now I'm just going to trim it off and serge the raw edges. After that, I'm going to fold out the neck facing like this, and I'm just going to stitch it along the edge. I'm using the zipper teeth as my guide to where I'm going to stitch. Just trimming off excess fabric so it will get rid of the bulk. I'm gonna stitch here and turn it correct side out, and voila! Gorgeous corner. It is perfection. I'm so proud of this make. Now all what's left to do is finish the hemline. I simply double fold it and give it a good press, and this is what the final dress look like. Oh my goodness, I can wear it so many ways. I can tuck in the elastic inside and it will give me this voluminous bell-shaped sleeves, and if I want to I can just make it into a 3/4 length sleeves and it looks absolutely perfection. Forget to like, share, and follow me for more sewing tutorial. I will see you in the next one. Bye!